giving other people an opportunity to join, I just want to give you an overview, okay, of what exactly can you expect in this training and the concept behind implementing and integrate a quality management system. So for beginners, the way that you have to, or the methodology or the process of implementing ISO 9001, this can be done in 12 steps, okay? So, what I'm going to do throughout this webinar, I'm going to show you the 12 steps that you have to do, or the 12 actions that you have to do, and also the expected results. And at each stage, I'm going to show you how to complete this project plan. So if you're a lead implementer, if you're leading the implementation of a quality management system in an organization, basically, you have to, your role is to formalize the quality management activities in an organization, and you have to do that through this project plan. So you're going to see that, implementing a quality management system is really easy. What you're going to do, I will show you at each one of the 12 actions, what to do, what are the opportunities for improvement, the documentation required, the common pitfalls, and also the expected results. This, of course, has been, all of these 12 steps have been highlighted by ISO in this white paper from 2015. Another concept also in implementing a quality management system is basically to understand the definition of a quality management system. A quality management system is basically a collection of business processes that focus on meeting customer requirements. So in other words, a quality management system, it already exists in an organization, okay? Your job as a lead implementer is not to disrupt and try to do everything from fresh, but your job is basically to make sure that there is a formal system that is used to manage those quality management activities, so that you can consistently meet the customer needs and expectations always, okay? So the reason why I'm giving you all these, why I'm saying these facts out and trying to simplify everything is because I want to just debunk the myth that implementing a quality management system is something that is very complicated. You need extra expertise. No, actually, just you have to do it in 12 steps, and these 12 steps, they can be categorized in 4 main stages in the plan, do, check, and act. So I'm going to show you everything. So getting into the training, what you're going to do, first of all, I'm going to show you the 3 building blocks of the quality management system as per ISO 9001. I'm going to explain the process approach. I'm going to explain the PDCA and the risk-based thinking. These are basically the 3 pillars of ISO 9001, which gives ISO 9001 the ability to meet quality management principles. After that, at each stage, I'm going to show you what to do, okay? So let's say we're in the planning stage. I'm going to explain the ISO 9001 requirements. What are the goal-setting requirements in that particular stage? And then I'm also going to show you the common pitfalls. These are basically, the mistakes that you have to avoid. And I'm going to explain how to do it. After that, I'm also going to show you how to conduct a gap analysis in an organization so that you can identify these opportunities for improvement. And we are going to end by demonstrating right here. So it's going to be more of a practical-based learning webinar so that, you can actually practice. And of course, after the webinar, you are going to have access to this recording and also this course bundle right here. I believe our team, they've shared all this information with you. So, and also, the CPD certification, this is the link that you can use to, this is the link that you can use to verify the authenticity of your certificate and also to claim your CPD points. I'm going to explain how to claim your CPD points and how to update them later on. So this being said, I think the webinar is full to capacity now, so let us get started. Right. So today I'm going to walk you through, and I'm also going to give you an in-depth understanding of ISO 9001 and also the best practice methods to implement a quality management system within your organization, okay? And also today what I'm going to do, I'm also going to be showing you the secondary documents that you can use. So like, for example, here we've got the manuals, we have got the internal documents and so on. So everything that I'm going to say here, I'm also going to show you which documents to use. And of course, you're going to have all these documents alongside your certificate. They come alongside the toolkit, okay? So I'm going to cover all the elements that you need to do in quality management system. And, just to repeat, actually, the implementation of a quality management system, I really want to make sure this is very clear from the on-go. This can only, which I'm going to show you how to complete or to implement these 12 steps in your organization. Okay, there's nothing else that you have to do other than what you're looking at in this document right now. So by the end of the webinar, I'm also going to share this document with you so that you can use it after this webinar to implement a quality management system in your organization. Okay, so please don't be intimidated or don't think this is very complicated or we are going to take a lot of time. I can promise you that what you're looking at right now, this is the alpha and omega, the A to Z, what you need to do or to have in order to implement a quality management system. As we are going to start the webinar, you are going to see that the concept of implementing is actually something which is very simple, and it's basically common sense, really, as you are going to see in a while. Okay. My name is Farai Langton Chuai. I'm a risk management consultant at the QHSE Group. We are based here in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, and I'm going to be your host for today's webinar. Right. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I want to do two things before we go anywhere. I want to really explain to you the concept of a quality management system. I'm going to explain the intended outcomes of ISO 9001, and also what do you have to do as a lead implementer. So in order to do this, okay, let us go back to to the ISO website, to the landing page of ISO 9001. Here, what I'm trying to do, I want you to really understand what is the purpose of ISO 9001, what is it used for, and how it can help you as an organization. So for starters, actually, ISO 9001 or ISO 9000 family is used to improve the quality of products and services so that you can constantly meet customers' needs and expectations. This is what you call the intended outcome. When you are looking at ISO 9001, or what do you need, or what ISO 9001 is going to give you, is basically the ability or the assistance in improving the quality of your products and services. Okay. And if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see that, ISO 9001, okay, this is used, to ensure that customers get consistent, good and quality products and services. This is what ISO 9001 is designed to do. So with that being said, now you have to ask the question, why exactly is that ISO 9001 is the widely accepted quality management system? Why do we use ISO 9001 as international standard? So in order to do that, you have to understand the quality management principles. So the idea here, ladies and gentlemen, is very simple. For a quality management system to be suitable and sufficient, including ISO 9001 or any form of quality management system that you have, it has to meet quality management principles. These quality management principles, they existed before any standard. So these quality management principles, basically there are 7 quality management principles, which I'm also going to explain to you. So these quality management principles, like customer focus, leadership, and so on, these are, if you follow these principles in quality management, these are like sort of rules and regulations, you can call them, like, the facts in quality management system. If a quality management system is going to ensure that customers, they get consistent and good quality products, the first thing that standard should do, or that management system should do, is to meet these quality management principles. So ISO 9001 is widely accepted today because that is the standard that is easier to use in order to meet these quality management principles. So in that case, now everything that we are going to do, everything that I'm going to explain, we want at the end of the day to have a quality management system that meets these principles. Okay, if we meet these principles, then we can ensure that customers, they get consistent and good quality products and services. Okay, so I'm going to come back to this concept later on. At this point, I just wanted you to understand, like, okay, why do I need ISO 9001? What is it in for me? Okay, so you know that ISO 9001, it ensures that customers, they get consistent and good quality products and services. How you can do this, that is what I'm going to show you today. So we are going to start off now by defining a quality management system. So a quality management system, okay, is not ISO 9001, it's not a certification. A quality management system is a collection of business processes that focus on meeting customer requirements on a consistent basis. And your job as the lead implementer is to formalize these business processes so that every time you serve a customer, every time you go through the product or service realization process, The same information, same methods, skills, and controls, they are used and applied in a consistent manner. This is going to allow you to have 100% customer satisfaction through customer complaints and being consistent. So that is the definition of a quality management system. Now, I want to go to ISO 9000, the 2015 version, okay? Here now, we want to look at what exactly is a quality management system according to ISO, and also what is your job as a what is your job as a lead implementer. Right, so we are going to go to section 2.4.2, okay? And then if we just scroll down here, we are going to see development of a quality management system. So here it reads, every organization has quality management activities, whether they've been formally planned or not. And these international standards, it provides guidance on how to develop a formal system to manage these activities, okay? So what I'm trying to do here, I want you to really understand what does it mean to have a quality management system and what do I have to do as a lead implementer. So what we are going to do today, I'm going to walk you through the guidance on how to develop a formal system to manage the quality management activities. So please let me give you my first example, okay? So my first example here, I want to show you a lemonade stand, okay? All of you, okay? Okay, so I want to say lemonade stand right here so that I can simplify and I can simplify this concept of a quality management system. So let us look for a bigger picture. Okay, this guy will do right here. So when you look at this lemonade stand here, there are quality management activities here, okay? What are they? The quality management activities, this is a collection of business processes that focus on meeting customer requirements on a consistent basis. So yes, indeed, this young man here has got quality management activities. And your job now as a lead implementer, what do you need to do? As a lead implementer is to develop a formal system to manage those quality activities, okay? What does it mean to formalize these quality management activities? Why do you need to do so? You need to formalize these quality management systems so that every time, okay, when you serve a customer, the same information, same methods, same skills and controls, they are used and applied in a consistent manner so that even if 10,000 people, 500 people come here, they are going to have the same quality, the same process that is going to be used to have a lemonade. Once that is done, then that is going to ensure that the customers are going to get consistent, good quality products and services, which in turn is going to bring business benefits. So this is now the first thing you have to know. As a lead implementer, please, it does not mean that you go to an organization, you tell them to stop whatever they're doing so that you can implement ISO 9001. That is not the case, okay? This is something that ISO, they even said, they highlighted that information in this handbook right here. So I'm going to share this link with you so that you can visit this website, and then you can visit this website and also get access to these links right here. Because, I started implementing and working on projects in ISO 9001 since 2008 in the previous version. And what I've realized is that a lot of people who want to implement this standard in their organizations, they usually fail on the first step itself, okay? They don't really understand what does it mean to implement a quality management system. So I'm going to say this for the last time. What you do when you use ISO 9001, you are basically following a guidance, okay? A set of actions that you need to develop a formal system to manage these activities. And that guidance is simply, it is actually 12 steps, okay? So these steps that you see in this document that I'm scrolling down, this is the guidance that you need in order to formalize the quality management activities in an organization. What an organization does each and every day to meet to provide products and services, those are quality management activities. Your job is just to make sure that this is consistent. If this young man here has got quality management activities, your organization, sure enough, you also have got quality management activities. The question here, what I'm going to show you is how to follow this guidance, okay, so that you can develop a formal system to manage those quality management activities. That is the job of a lead implementer, okay? And at the end of the implementation journey, what you want to achieve, you want to ensure that every time the process of providing a product or a service is performed, we want to use the same information, the same method, and the same skills, so that the control, so that even if we serve 1 million customers, we are going to have the same product, the same quality, and so on. Okay, so that is what we call a quality management system. Now, what we are going to do now, I'm now going to turn my attention to the ISO 9001 standard. Right now, I wanted to define and clarify what does it mean to implement a quality management system. So now we go to these requirements. At this point now, I want to show you what exactly is ISO 9001, what is it made up of, okay? At this point, I want to show you the 3 building blocks of ISO 9001 so that you can understand each and every step that you are going to go through when I complete the 12 steps. So if you open ISO 9001, okay, right from the introduction, you are going to see that ISO, they said this international standard employs the process approach, which incorporates the PDCA and also the risk-based thinking. These 3 elements, the process approach, the PDCA, and the risk-based thinking, these are the 3 components, these are the 3 features of this international standard that helps it to meet these quality management principles, okay? These quality management principles, they are a make it or break it, okay? Because it is based, these quality management principles, they existed before any quality management standard. So anything, by the way, there are more than 50 quality management standards, in case you do not know. It's not only ISO 9001 or total quality management. There are over 50. But the reason why ISO 9001 is the most prominent one is because that is the easiest way and the most effective way to meet these quality management principles. And in order to meet these quality management principles, ISO, it does that by employing the process approach, which incorporates the PDCA and also the risk-based thinking. And that is what we are going to do. From the process approach, the PDCA and risk-based thinking, that is where we are going to get the guidance on how can we develop a formal system to manage quality management activities, okay? As we said, every organization has quality management activities. Your job is just to develop a formal system. And in order to develop this formal system, you have to follow this guidance. So right now, let me give you an overview on the process approach. So this process approach, the PDCA and also the risk-based thinking, these are the building blocks of ISO 9001. What gives ISO 9001 the ability to effectively meet those quality management principles? It's because of these things. So what you're looking at right now, this is called the process approach, okay? So how does it work? Well, the process approach here, it consists of sources of inputs, the activities, outputs, and then the receiver's outputs. So I'm going to give you an example of, at this point, before I use any other organization, I'm going to give you more complex or more advanced examples, but let me just use the example from the lemonade stand, okay? Because I want to really show you how simple the concept is, okay? When we are doing the plan, do, check, and act, when I'm completing this project plan, I'm going to switch over to other examples that you're accustomed to, like construction, manufacturing, healthcare, and so on. I'll do that. At this point, at the beginning, when I'm establishing the concept, let me just use a very simple and example so that you can understand. So I'm going to show you how these how the quality management activities here they can employ a process-based thinking. So the process approach here at a lemonade stand, there are sources of inputs. Sources of inputs, these are the needs and expectations, okay? So the source of inputs here can be thirsty people who want a cold lemonade, okay? It's hot, I'm thirsty, I need a drink. Okay? Those are the source of inputs. So the inputs at the lemonade stand is going to be the materials, that can be the refrigerator, the lemonade, the sugar, and the proper mix and water, okay? The activities, this is basically the process of from the lemons, mixing with water, sugar, refrigeration until they serve it when the customer comes. That is the start to end. The outputs here is a lemonade, okay, that is full with appropriate sugar, and that is delicious, okay? That is good to drink. The receiver's output is basically quenching of thirst with the cold and the what and the delicious drink or drink that tastes better. That is basically what happens. So in your organization also, whether you know or you don't know this concept, this is what is happening in your company. In your organization, we have sources of inputs, we have inputs, we have activities, we have outputs, and we have receivers outputs. And this diagram that you see here, this is what ISO said every organization has quality management activities. Whether they've been formally planned or not, this is what is happened. This is what happens in your company. This is what happened today, and this is what is going to happen tomorrow in your organization. Okay? So your job now is to make sure that those quality management activities, they are formalized. You want to make sure that whenever this process happens in your organization, the same information, the same methods and skills and controls, they are used and applied in a constant manner. Okay? So this is what you call the process approach. And if you come over here, you're going to see that the process approach enables the organization to plan its processes and its interaction. Basically, this is what other people can call the product realization process or the service realization process. This is what you do from A to Z when a customer comes to your organization and then when they get it. So the first step after determining this process approach is to go to the PDCA, this second, which is incorporated here. The PDCA or the plan, do, check, and act cycle enables your organization to ensure that its processes, they are adequately resolved and managed, and that opportunities for improvement, they are determined and acted upon. Okay, so how does that happen? Well, this is now the PDCA. Okay, the PDCA, what is going to do, we are going to look at these quality management activities. We are going to look at the business processes that intend to meet customers' needs and expectations, and you need to plan. What does it mean? It means you have to set objectives for improvement activities so that you can address the risks. Okay, that means you are going to look at this process. You are going to look at the processes that focus on meeting customer requirements on a constant basis. Once you look at those processes, you have to set objectives for improvement. What can we improve so that we can ensure that customers, they get quality and good products and services? Okay. After that, you have to do. What does it mean to do? That means you have to realize the improvement using the planned activities, and then you have to check. That means you have to evaluate the effectiveness of those improvements using the performance tools, and you have to act. That means optimize the performance or introduce the changes. So right now I'm just going through this content because this is an overview, and the reason why I'm explaining this concept to you is because I am leading up to the 12 steps of developing or formalizing quality management activities. These 12 steps right here, as you're going to see, they are basically based on risk-based thinking, PDCA, and the process approach. Okay, these steps, as you can see, what you have to do, okay, what do you have to do in the guidance, this is already there. Okay, all you have to do is just to grab a copy of this document. What can be difficult is basically to explain and customize this to your organization. So that is why I'm showing you the building blocks of the quality management system, so that you can understand the reason behind each action, and that way you can do it more effectively. And then the third component of quality management system or ISO 9001 is the risk-based thinking. This risk-based thinking right here. This actually is going to enable your organization to determine the factors that could cause its processes and this quality management system to deviate from your quality objectives or the planned results. And also the risk-based thinking is going to put in place preventative controls to minimize negative effects and to maximize the use of opportunities as they arise. So this section right here, okay, this is what you need to know in quality management systems, and this is actually on the first page of the standard. Please make sure that this information is known, because right here, this is probably everything you need to know about ISO 9001. Is because ISO 9001, it employs the process approach, the PDCA, and the risk-based thinking. This is what gives ISO 9001 the ability to meet these principles, and that is how ISO 9001 will ensure that the customers, they get consistent, good quality products and services. Okay, so this is now the first section of ISO 9001, which we're going to look at. I'm going to look at the I'm going to look at the PDCA, at the risk-based thinking, the process approach, and the PDCA later on when we start these 12 steps right here. I'm going to repeat that concept again. So right now, after we know that this is now the risk-based thinking, how do you see it? Now this is the diagram right here. So this is now how ISO 9001 works. This diagram that you see here is a combination of the process approach, the PDCA, and the risk-based thinking. Okay, so where is the PDCA here? This is the plan, do, check, and act. Where is the process approach? This is represented by these numbers here and these clauses. Number 6, number 5, number 7, number 9, number 10. And the risk-based thinking is represented by these gray arrows, 3 in the input and then 3 at the output right here. So this diagram right here, this is how it looks like if you formalize the quality management system. This is what it will look like in your organization if you employ a process approach which adopts the PDCA and the risk-based thinking. So with this being done, this is what we are going to do in today's webinar. In today's webinar, we are going to see how can I identify opportunities of improvement? How can I formalize the quality management activities in my organizations so that it can be like this? So basically, it's going to be a rearranging exercise. So now to explain how does ISO 9001 work now, first of all, it uses a risk-based approach. So in 3 steps, step number 1, you identify customers' needs and expectations, okay? So what exactly do your customers or your product says, what exactly are the requirements, okay? So let's say your customer satisfaction is on time and accurate deliveries. And then you come to these 3 arrows here and determine, in order to meet these customer satisfaction and the product sales requirements, what do the clients need? What are the needs and expectations? And what is the context of this organization? That means what are the internal and external factors that can affect the intended outcomes? So here now, these 3 first arrows, they are going to give you the threats and opportunities. This is going to determine what will make your customers happy and what will make your customers angry. These 3 arrows here, they are going to determine what can positively or negatively affect the quality, the customer satisfaction needs and also your outputs. After that, you are going to use this in this dotted line, which is the process. You are going to plan, do, check, and then act. And that is how you are going to address these customers. You are going to achieve customer satisfaction and product and services which meet customer requirements. So this is now a combination of the process approach, the PDCA, and also the risk-based thinking. Okay, so this is now the first concept that I'm going to do. And throughout this webinar, I'm going to remind you of these first 4 slides. Okay, and throughout this webinar, I'm going to be showing you what are the collection of business processes. I'm going to show you where is the process approach, the PDCA, and the combination of the PDCA, risk-based thinking, and then the process approach. So what I'm going to do right now is now to look into the what. I'm now going to start looking into the guidance. At this point, we are now going to go one by one into these 12 steps that you can use to formalize a quality management system. And I'm also going to show you how you can record them on this project plan here. So we are going to start off now with support and resource management. So support and resource management, this is what you see right here, represented in this outside this circle here, okay? And this support and resource management, we are going to start with support and resource management because this is going to determine whether you have what it takes to complete each and every 12 steps that you have. So the first step now is to determine, do you actually have the resources required to implement and improve the system, okay? So here again, understand one thing. You are going to see that this word improve is going to appear a lot because that is what you do as a lead implementer. As a lead implementer, in every organization is to improve the quality management activities. What they're already doing, your job is to make sure that you improve it so that it can become a formal system that meets quality management principles, and consequently it's going to meet customers' needs and expectations. So the first thing that you have to determine here before any improvement activities is to look at the resources in 3 ways. You have to decide the competence and skills needed within the organization. the infrastructure, okay? That means the equipment you need to perform effectively, and also you also need to look at the conditions under which the work is performed and ensure that this is appropriate. So right off the bat, what we are going to do, we are going to take these three, okay, these resources, and then we are going to put them right here, okay? So I'm going to put our resources here. So I'm going to say people, okay, like this, and then we are going to put here infrastructure, okay, and then we are going to put work environment, okay, like this, because here we are going to be using quality management activities. So we really need to make sure that these supporting resources for every action that we are going to take here, we need to make sure that for that action to be completed, do we have the necessary competence, do we have the necessary infrastructure, and also the work environment, okay? So with that being done now, we now have to look at the ISO 9001 requirements. We look at the common pitfalls. When determining resources, okay, what are the common pitfalls? So these common pitfalls, this comes from ISO surveys in 2022. ISO conducted a survey on 1 million organizations which have been certified to ISO 9001. And in those 1 million surveys now, these were the common pitfalls. So these are very important to you as a lead implementer, as someone who is looking to improve or to formalize the quality management activities. You have to know what can go wrong, okay, so that you don't make the same mistakes as other organizations. So the common pitfalls here, okay, in determining people, infrastructure, and the work environment, the common pitfalls or the common mistakes when addressing the resources needed to implement and improve the quality management system. Number one was that, some organizations, they are not using the appropriate tool or measuring device when measurements are taken, okay? And then also, since it is a requirement to improve organizational knowledge, it is essential that the organizational knowledge in form of training education is captured and recorded, but auditors, they frequently find that this is not the case, okay? For example, training records, they are not retained as required. So these are the two things that you should always address and make sure you don't repeat the same mistake. After that, now, we now go to the identification for these opportunities for improvement. So this concept now of opportunities for improvement, where does it come from? These opportunities for improvement, if you open again the standard here, you can see that during the implementation, okay, opportunities for improvement, they should be determined and acted upon. This is now how you do, because listen, when you let's say what you do, okay, you look at the quality management activities in an organization, and these quality management activities, they basically look like this. These quality management activities, these are the processes that focus on meeting customer requirements on a constant basis, okay? This exists in every organization. So when you look at these business processes, what you do in an organization, the process approach, the product or the service realization process, okay? In order for you to formalize this, you have to identify the opportunity for improvement. What does it mean to have the opportunity for improvement? It means that the current activities, okay, they need to, you need to employ the process approach, PDC, and risk-based thinking. It means that these opportunities for improvement in order to meet quality management principles. These quality management principles, okay, as you can see, they can be used as a foundation to guide the organization's performance. Principle, this is a basic belief, a theory or rule that has got major influence on which something is done. Quality management principles, these are set of what fundamentals, beliefs, and rules and values that are accepted as true and can be used for as a base for any quality management system, any quality management. So what I'm going to do here, when you see these opportunity for improvement here, this is what you have to look at in the organization when we are addressing these resources. I'm going to show you later on, okay? So after these common pitfalls here, what you need to do here is to look at this opportunity for improvement. At this point now, you are going to look at those quality management activities that exist in every organization. Here you are looking at what the organization is currently doing, and then you are going to look for evidence to determine, do you meet actually the requirements of ISO 9001? Do you have what it takes to meet these quality management principles? The end game in any quality management system is to meet the quality management principles, and then that's how you are going to meet the needs and expectations for your customers and other interested parties. So here now under resources, the opportunity for improvement, they include, you have to you have to gather evidence to determine if all staff who can affect quality, they've been trained in their role and do they understand the roles within the quality management system. Are there appropriate records for training, and is the infrastructure and work environment suitable for meeting customers' needs and regulatory requirements? And also, is the work environment, does it meet all regulations? Is it fit for the purpose? So these are the questions right now. All of these 4 questions, these are the questions that we are going to ask right here in order to determine if indeed the organization, you have enough resources in order to complete those actions taken. So here from the plan, do, check, and act, I'm going to put an action here, okay, which we are going to take from ISO. So let's say the action here is going to be defining the context of the organization. When we put this action to be taken here, we also need to determine, do we actually have enough resources? How do you know that we have got enough resources to complete this action? We are going to ask these questions right here. And resources, we look at them in infrastructure, equipment, and also the people or the competence. So please hold on a little bit on these questions. We are going to look at them later on. All right. After this right now, we are now going to start the formalizing, or we are going to start the development of a quality management system in 4 simple steps. So please allow me to repeat one more concept before we go ahead. Number 1, okay, what you are going to do here is just to develop a formal system to manage quality management activities. And you are going to develop or to formalize these activities by following guidance. What exactly does this guidance look like? This guidance, these are 12 steps. These 12 steps right here, they are further, they can be divided into 4 categories. Under plan, which we are looking at right now here, under plan, you should complete 8 of these 12 steps. So under plan, I'm going to show you this action to take, okay, the expected results, the documented information to use, the common pitfalls, and the opportunities for improvement. So this is the guidance. So right now in planning, I'm going to show you how to define the context, how to define the objectives, how to determine the processes, determine the sequence, how to define to assign responsibility and authority, okay, how to determine process, how to determine documented information, how to determine activities, and also monitoring and measurements. After that, we go to do. In do, we only have to do 2 actions. In check, we have to do 1 action, and then in act, there's only 1 action. Okay, so this is the guidance that I'm going to show you, and that is why I have also used these documents from ISO. And by the way, these are public documents, and the reason why I use public documents is because I want to, of course, I want to use verified information, but I also want to convey this message that this is not really complicated. Okay, so that you can just be at ease and follow the steps. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to properly complete this step right here. So I'm going to show you now how to formalize these quality management activities in 4 steps. And remember, what you're trying to do here at the end of the day, as a quality in your organization, you need to ensure that the customers, they get consistent and good quality products and services. This is your ultimate goal. And in order for your customers to get consistent and good quality products or services, you need to ensure that every time when the process to deliver to a customer, okay, is performed, the same information, the same method, skills, and controls, they are applied in a constant manner. And the only way that you can have the same information, same method, and skills in a constant manner, it can be done by having a formal system to manage these activities. Once you manage your quality management activities, once you manage the business process that focus on meeting customer requirements, when you manage and formalize them, you are going to have the same information, same methods and skills and controls that are going to be used and applied. And these are the 12 steps that I'm going to show you. Okay, so these 12 steps, as I said, they can be further subdivided into 4 categories, and we are going to start off with planning. What are we going to do in planning? In planning now, we are going to establish objectives and to draft our plans. Okay, at this point, when we say plan, we are planning this. Okay, this is what we are planning. We are planning on how are you going to determine the source of your inputs, how are you going to determine these inputs, and so on like this. Okay, this is called the process approach, which I said this exists in every organization. This is what quality management activities look like. This diagram right here can be described as business processes that focus on meeting customer requirements on a constant basis. This is what happened at your company today. In your organization, this is what is going to happen tomorrow. Okay, when you see a customer coming in, or when you are going to deliver a product or a service to a customer, that is the receiver's outputs. You are going to see the outputs, and so on. You can track it back and forth on so on like that. So when how do you do everything here? You start off with planning. When you are planning, you want to analyze your organization's current systems. You want to look at, okay, what exactly are we doing at this point? You want to look at those, or you want to look at your product or service realization process so that you can establish overall objectives, okay? Overall objectives, what are there? You want to have, let's say, 0 customer complaints, 100% customer satisfaction, 5-star rating, or so on. So here you are going to set targets for review and to develop plans to achieve them. So under planning now, I'm now going to explain now how does the process approach, the risk-based thinking, and the PDCA can help you to plan. Okay, so this planning here, okay, what I'm going to explain to you here, this is now what happens here. These international standards, at each stage it employs the process approach, which incorporates the PDCA and the risk-based thinking. So that is what I'm going to explain here. So under planning now, what happens here is that, this is top management responsibility. And ISO 9001, it provides you with a powerful planning tool. So how do you plan? You plan first of all by determining, you find out what are the current and future needs of your customers and the expectation. Okay, find out what are your customers' current and future needs. What do they need today and tomorrow? Okay, and then from those customer needs and expectations, these are the customer requirements. What do they need from you? Is it on time and accurate deliveries? Is it durable products? Okay, is it the taste? Is it the color? Whatever. What do the client, when they come to your organization, what do they need from you? Is it comfort? Is it luxury? Okay, is it cheap? Is it the price or the cost? What exactly do they need? And then you have to, from those needs and expectations, you use that information to write your quality management policy. This is called the policy, the statement of intent. Okay, this statement of intent now is going to be a basis for setting objectives. What you're going to write in your statement of intent, your quality policy of intent, you're going to establish measurable objectives for the organization on how that is going to help you to achieve these quality aims of the quality policy statement. And then you are going to allocate responsibilities and to effectively, roles and responsibilities to meet those objectives, which are based on the policy statement of intent, and also the policy is based on what? On customers' needs and expectations. And once you do that now, the end is going to review so that you can review the operation of your system at regular intervals and improve where necessary. So this is now for all the 8 steps that are under planning, this is exactly what you want to achieve. Okay, so we are going to start off. The first thing before we do anything, we look at the 1 million at the result of from the result of the survey. When 1 million organizations were surveyed, what were the common pitfalls under planning? Okay, this is very important because you need to understand where did other people go wrong so that you don't repeat the same mistake. Okay, I think at the beginning of this webinar I said you're going to see that this is more of common sense rather than like technical knowledge and expertise. Okay, so the first thing that you have to do here is to look at what can go wrong, and this is also going to be very important to your organization so that you don't repeat the same mistakes. So under planning, there is a clause number 4 and clause number 6. There is a requirement to identify the needs and the expectations, and many organizations, they fail to identify that. And also, a lot of organizations, they are failing to meet the requirements of monitoring and measuring their processes. Okay, they fail to monitor and measure the business processes that intend to meet customer requirements. And then in clause number 6, which is also another clause under planning, okay, this is now organizations, they are required to plan and define actions when changes are being made to the quality management system, and this was not the case. And also sometimes risk is often not properly evaluated in parts of the organization's businesses. So what you do now, okay, you say thank you so much for this for the heads up, okay, and this is going to find its way in your implementation project here, and then you are going to implement it like that, okay. Let me just increase the size here. All right, okay, so these are now the common pitfalls. All right, so as you can see right now, we are still under planning, okay, and I'm showing you how to do it bit by bit like that. So right now, all our resources, we have it here, and then also this is what it looks like for the potential barriers. What can prevent you from completing this action? So after that now, what do we do? After this now, we now have to go to how to do it, okay? So the planning stage now, this is the starting point, and you have to take place after you've located the need for improvement. What exactly needs to be improved here in this organization, in those business processes that focus on meeting the customer needs and expectation? What needs to be improved? So you first of all, you describe the case, okay? Why do you need this improvement? Who or how this need for improvement was identified? What is the reason for this improvement? Which action is going to be executed? Who are the responsible parties? By when should this be accomplished? What are the expected results? And how will this be documented? This is how to do it, okay? So you just come over here. We are going to start off by describing the case. So we come over here now, we say describe the case. And then we say here what we want to do. We want to ensure that customers, they get consent and good quality products and services. This is what we need, okay? So you can say this is the reason why we need it. Or you can say also another reason why I need to develop a formal quality management system is because I need to improve the quality and product and constantly meet customer expectations. That can be also another need for improvement, not an issue at all, okay? So after that now, how the identifier here, who and how was this need for improvement was identified. So here you can easily say this was from, you can say Google reviews, okay? This came either from Google reviews or from, you can say from internal audits, okay? Or you can say we identified this need, from, you can even say customer survey, okay? Anything. How did you know about that, okay? Like that. That can also be, okay? So let me just say like this and, all right? Like this. Right. So here now, relevance to quality objective, okay? Like, what is the reason for improvement? Which objective is not being met? And then you can just say, in our organization, we need 100%, okay? Customer satisfaction, okay? Or you can say our policy, our objective is that we want to have 0 customer complaints. Okay, something like that. That is also okay. Right. So as this is also, of course, this is an example. You are going to get the completed project plans. You just have to come over here in your toolkit. Okay. So this is the toolkit that you're going to get on your $49. So you just go to this module here on Complete Guide to Quality Management Systems, and you're going to see the template of the completed case studies of this quality management project plans. So after that, now once this is done, now you go to this, you open this document from ISO. Okay, this is a white paper on how to do it. So in this white paper, as they said, you have to do it now. They actually tell you what to do and also the guidance. Okay, so let us start with a very simple process here. Let us start with, let us just start with the first one, no problem. Okay, so I'm going to say step number 1, define the context. What to do, okay? The organization should identify its responsibilities and so on like that. We take this action, okay? And then this is the action to be taken, and this action is going to be pasted here, all right? After that now, what is the documentation? What are the expected results for this action? So this action, the expected results are these ones, okay? At the end, we should gather and analyze internal and external responsibilities for the organization to satisfy relevant requirements and so on, okay? The results from the context of the organization. and then you're going to put them over here. After that, now, what are the two sections remaining? So the idea here now, before we proceed, remember, this is the guidance that we are following. I'm showing you how to develop a formal system to manage your quality management activities. And this is the first step to develop a quality management system to manage those activities. So what you are supposed to do here is you now know the action and you know the expected results. So your job as a lead implementer is to identify the opportunities for improvement and the documented information that you're going to use so that your organization can move from here to this point so that this action can be completed. So we go to documented information here, guidance on documented information. You scroll down a little bit here, okay? And then everything again is, they mentioned it right here. Documented information to be maintained by the organization for the purpose of establishing a quality management system. You are establishing a quality management system. This is in the planning. You take this documented information and then you put it over here like this. I'm really sorry for the size. Please just forgive me here. But, sometimes I want to make sure that everything is on one page, okay? So that this will not create any confusion. Okay, okay, here we go. Okay, so this is now the documentation that you have here. So this is the step, and then this is the documentation. These are the potential barriers. I'm also going to show you what are the specific documents that you use to complete this step here, which are basically these ones. So you come to internal documents, and then you go to context analysis, and then you open like this, okay? When you open, this is the document that you're going to use to complete step number 1, the criteria, internal, and then external. So I'm going to show you in a moment. So once this is done now, we now go to the opportunity for improvement. So before we start looking at the opportunity for improvement, just understand what is happening. What is happening here is that this is the first step of formalizing your quality management activities. What you already do to meet your customers' needs and expectations, to formalize and to make sure that you develop a quality management system here, this is the first step. So this action to take and what you have to achieve, you already know. This, or ISO, they've already provided you this information. Your job as a lead implementer, the majority of it is going to lie on identifying the opportunity for improvement. Opportunity for improvement. What can we do in order to, what opportunity do you have to seize in order to complete this action so that you can achieve these expected results? And this is what the document that you're going to save to your organization. So after that now, and then you come over here. So the opportunity for improvement here, at each step you have to determine, is there evidence that the management is committed to the system and to actively involved in management reviews? At a strategic level, okay, have they defined the activities that are critical to meeting the customer requirements? So these are the opportunities for improvement under planning, okay? And this is what you are going to be doing as the lead implementer. The whole process of developing developing a formal system to manage these quality management activities, it's basically based on what? On these opportunities for improvement. Because what do you have to do and what do you have to achieve is already there. All what you have to do is to determine which opportunities of improvement have been identified and implemented. Okay, as you can see here, okay, you can see here that, PDCA, this is going to the PDCA, which we are following right now. We are in the planning. Okay, this is going to help us that, opportunities for improvement, they are determined and acted upon. So this is now what you are doing. You are going to identify these opportunities for improvement, and you have to make sure that they are acted upon so that this action can be completed and these expected results can be achieved. Okay, so these are now the opportunities for improvement that you have to put over here. Okay, so these are going to be the opportunities for improvement. So how does this work now? Let us just complete the second set, and then I'm going to show you how to use this in your organization. And step number 2, this is a series of the opportunities for improvement. So these opportunities for improvement, always remember, this is just you looking at the current organization's business processes so that you can formalize them so that it can be adequate in order to meet the primary goal setting requirements and to meet the the quality management principles. Do you have a documented policy that has been reviewed and how it is reviewed? Okay. Are the quality objectives defined in a way that can be measured? Where you outsource work that could affect the product, have you defined how this will be controlled? So you understand if this opportunity for improvement has already been implemented, and then you just go to the next one. The idea is to make sure that all of these checklists now you are going to do as a gap analysis. Do you have the records for the control of documents and then the records? Okay, so these are now the opportunities for improvement that you have to look at. Now, how does this work? Well, this now, okay, this is exactly what I said at the beginning of the webinar. At the beginning of the webinar, I said the idea here is a two-step process. Step number one, you look at the business process that focus on meeting customer requirements on a consistent basis. And then I said, okay, these are the business activities. And then we said, this is what we do when the customer walks in and until when the customer walks out, okay? After that, now I said, okay, now I'm going to give you a series of guidance on how to develop a quality management activity, how to formalize them. So we say that this can be done in 12 steps. So the idea here is that what to do, ISO they've already told you, and what do you have to achieve at the end of it, ISO they've already highlighted that. So your job now is to make sure now that, okay, which documented information do I have to use here? Okay, what are the opportunities for improvement? What are the resources that I have to do? So in other words, your job as a lead implementer is just between here. Avoid these potential barriers, have this documentation, have these resources and these opportunities for improvement. That is going to help you to complete all these actions so that you achieve these expected results. Why are you doing that? Because you want to make sure that every time when you are providing a product or a service, you want to use the same information, same method, same skills and controls, so that even if you save 1 million customers, they are going to have 1 million same results. Which is why we said we need to what? Which is why we said here in the need for identification, we said we need to ensure that the customers they get consistent, good quality products and services. So this is step number one. And then you come over here. Okay, we go to step number what? We go to step number 2. Here you are supposed to define objectives and the policies for the organization. So this is the action you have to complete, no problem. You copy this action here based on the analysis of the needs and expectations, the objectives and the policies, they have to be determined. So this is going to be step number what? Step number 2. We paste our step number 2 here, okay? And then we are going to again go through the list of these opportunities for improvement. We determine for us to complete this action, do we have these resources and this documented information and avoid these potential barriers. So before we proceed, I just need to highlight on documentation, documented information here. Well, when you come to documented information, first of all, I'm going to give you the definition from from ISO, like what exactly is documented information and why do you need it, okay? So according to ISO here, they said, so they said documented information can be used to what? To communicate a message, provide evidence of what was planned has actually been done, or knowledge sharing. So these documents that you see here that have been listed, these are called these are the secondary documents, the primary documents that you can use to communicate the message to your organization, to document that indeed this action has been done. So for example, this first action, this first action that you have to take to determine the context, you are going to do it with this document right here, okay? This is what you're also going to get alongside your toolkit. This is going to help you determine the context of the organization. This is going to communicate the message to your organization, what needs to be done. Here you are going to identify the positive and the negative factors that can affect your organization. What can affect your objectives, both internal and external, okay? And then this documented information under objectives, which information are you going to use to communicate or provide evidence that step number 2 was completed? You come over here, okay? And then you go to the section of what? Of quality objectives. And then these are the objectives management program. And then you just click over here, okay? For example, this is the documented information that you are going to be using. So before and after implementation and the activities, when you complete these documents right here, that is now how you are helping your organization to complete these steps. So at this point, just understand that My job here is to develop a formal system to manage our quality management system. And I have 12 steps which are in form of guidance on how to do it. At each step, okay, I already know what to do and what are the results. For example, this second step right here for objectives, the expected result is this one. So your job basically here is to make sure that you are going to take this action and to make sure that these expected results, they are being implemented in an organization. You do that by identifying opportunities for improvement, providing resources, communicate with the documented information, and also make sure that this documented information is what is retained as evidence. Okay, these are the common pitfalls that you have to avoid, and that is what you need. The idea is to be at this point. These now expected results, these are features of a quality management system that ensures that the same information, methods, and skills and controls they applied in a constant manner. That is the idea behind quality management system implementing. Okay, implementation. So this is now what you have to do under planning. Always remember, we start off by determining what needs to be done, how to do it, what are the common pitfalls, and then also the opportunities for improvement. Okay, so we are now going to go to the do section. So before we go to the do section, again, let me explain what exactly is happening here. Okay, before we go to the do section, I want you to understand what exactly is happening here. Why, so that you can piece in together everything. So what is going to happen here is that, this is simple. These quality management standards, they are based on a number of quality management principles. Okay, so this standard ISO 9001 is based on a number of quality management principles. These are the quality management principles that you see here. Let me just, so these are the quality management principles that you see here. So what does it mean when ISO say this standard is based on this number of quality management principles? It means that, before ISO 9001 was developed, before any quality management system you know of, it was developed as a means to meet these quality management principles. Okay, why do you care, or why are these quality management principles? Because these principles, these quality management principles, they are a set of fundamental beliefs, norms, rules, and values that are accepted as true and can be used as a basis for quality management. Okay, so with that being said, now ISO, everything that you see in ISO 9001, the end game here is to make sure that these quality management principles, these fundamental beliefs, norms, and values, they can also be integrated in your organization. And these are the quality management principles. So ISO, they said, what are we going to do? They said, okay, we are going to have a standard that employs the process approach, the PDCA, and the risk-based thinking. Okay, and in order for you to employ the process approach which incorporates PDCA and risk-based thinking, here are the 12 steps that you have to do. Okay, so of course every organization is different. All ISO can do is to tell you what to do at each step and what is the expected result, which is what you have done here. This is the action, and then this is the result. How this is going to become true or to be done in your organization, it's going to depend on how do you identify the opportunities for improvement. You have these resources, you have documented information to complete those steps, avoid these potential barriers, and then that is how we are going to do it. Now, after that, now we are going to come to this section, okay? After that, now we are going to do this, okay? We are now going to determine the evidence for success and how to evaluate it like that. So this is now the planning. Please allow me to, okay? Just allow me, because I want to have all these things in one page. So this is now what you're going to do. So at the end now, okay, so here you're going to come and then you put step number 3, number 4. So under planning, there are basically 8 steps. So in each of these steps, you just have to do exactly the same way that we did for those 2 steps. Or please just, you go to this module right here. When you get your certificate and toolkit, you are going to see the complete case studies right there. So what I want to do now is to show you how to close out this step. So here now we need evidence of success. How will you know that we are making progress? What are the benchmarks? Okay, so what are the benchmarks here? And then you come over. So the benchmarks, how do you know that you're going to do? You are going to know that because of the goal setting requirements. So if you scroll down here, you're going to see that under planning, This is called the goal setting requirement. Under planning your organization, okay, you know that, how do you know that you're making progress? You know that you're making progress if you establish objectives for your systems and processes, and you provide the resources needed in to deliver the results in accordance with what customer requirements and the quality management, with the quality management policies, and you have identified risks and opportunities. What you're looking at right now, this is called a primary goal setting requirement, okay? And this is the goal that you want to achieve here. And then they're going to ask you, how do you evaluation process? How will you determine that your goal has been reached? So do you determine that your goal has been reached? You come over here and then you buy the what? You buy the ISO 9004, the guidance to achieve sustained success. So this ISO 9004, the 2018 version, okay? And in this case now, so you look at each action that we have done here. So for example, let's say this is objective. So you open your ISO 9004 and then you go to the maturity model, okay? And under the maturity model, you go to the objectives here, okay? You see this objective is for step number 2. And then you are going to say, this is now the maturity model that you are going to use to what? To measure success, evaluation of process. How do you know that this goal has been reached? You can simply say, we are going to use the maturity model in ISO 9004 like that. This is going to help you now that, let's say if the organization is either at level 1, level 2, level 3, that is what you're going to do. For step number 1, okay, which is this one, for step number 1, we said determining the needs and expectations of interested parties. No problem at all. Okay, you can see here external and internal issues. You just go to section 5.3, and this is also going to let you know. So the idea here in this maturity model is to make sure that you score a 5 out of 5. If anything, if this does not make sense to you whatsoever, no problem. You just come over here, you click on this 5.3, and ISO, they're going to give you the examples like that, okay? It is as simple as that. They're going to show you what does it mean, and they're going to explain. If this does not make any sense any further, you can just always come over to these resources. You can go to this module, how to apply risk-based thinking in quality management system. You can get an awareness training. You can get the toolkit. All the resources that you ever need here, we have them. As you can see, these are highly rated courses. Please check your email inbox. Our team, they've sent the links and so that you can access this free trial. So this is now what you do, and that is how you complete the first step of planning. So this first step of planning now, what have we done? Right now, what have we done? We have looked at these business processes that focus on meeting customer requirements. And when we looked at what your organization is currently doing, we set objectives for improvement so that we can address the positive and negative factors. We can address the risks. We can address what can make your customers angry or happy. Okay, and we use the quality planning tools. Now, what we are going to do, we are now going to do. That means we need to implement. We need to realize the improvement using the what? The planned activities, so that we can incorporate these improved quality management activities into your organization, into your quality management system. So that is now step number 2, which is do. Okay? Yeah, please, if you have got any questions, please just drop them in the chat box. I'm going to be checking any questions that we have from time to time, so that I can address them as we go. Okay? Okay. Yeah. Okay. For the link to process your payments, I'm sure our team, they've sent it to you, but here is the link also. Okay. So here's the link that you can use to process your payment for $49. And for $49, this is also what you're going to get in case you did not get this. In case that you missed, so you're going to get this bundle, and you're also going to receive these documents that I'm using right here. Okay, these are basically contained in your quality management in your toolkit. Okay, so you just check your email inbox, and then you can process your payment from there. The link has been shared to you. Right. So moving on now. let us see. Now we are going to the do section. Okay, so in the do now, this is now under do, we have got 2 steps, 2 actions that we have to complete. In planning, we have like 8 steps we have to complete. Here now in do, we need to implement our plans. That is the goal setting requirement. And then under do now, this is now the product or self-stabilization process, because at this point now we have committed the direction from management and the necessary resources to to formalize your quality management activities. So now what you need to do, we need to start with planning, and then we plan the journey from the point where the customer asks for something right through to what to delivery and beyond if necessary. Typically, this is going to involve designing the process for your sales, for your design and development, for purchasing, production, and basically delivery. So what you're going to do here, we are now going, because during the planning phase, we set objectives. This is what you want our process to be. This is what you want to achieve. Those were the plans. Now we have to implement them. Okay. So the first thing that we have to do is to look at the common pitfalls. Okay. So these common pitfalls now, one of the common pitfalls that first piece inspections, they are not effective or documented. Sometimes the receiving inspections, they are also cited as ineffective. And also the process for approving or disqualifying vendors is not up to code, okay? And also other organizations, they are not clearly defining the materials involved in their processes or manufacturing. So these are the common pitfalls which may or may not be there in your organization or where you want to implement a quality management system. So again, we are going to do this, and then we go to the section of operation. Okay, so here we always start with the common pitfalls, and then we paste them right here. Okay, these are very, very important, because you are going to see that through this implementation journey in your organization, it's like your job is to communicate. You are guiding your organization to complete these actions. Okay, so they really need to know what are the potential barriers and so on like that. And under operation here, we have got 2 actions to take. One of the action we have already completed it, which was resources. Okay, so here we are now. We are under in do. So these are the actions for plan, and then under do, this is what you have to do here. Okay, so the resources, we have already defined it. So this is now the action that we just have to do. All right, so let us see how that is done. So here now, how to do it in the do. So the do now, or the implementation, this is the second stage out of 4, step number 2 out of 4, where you have to realize your plan, and this refers to the operation of your plan. So during this stage now, you have to submit the plan for execution, just like that's why we are preparing that project plan, which I'm showing you. So what you have to do here, first of all, you have to, when you're implementing the actions, okay, how to do it, you need to collect and gather the data and information regarding the carrying out of the planned action. How exactly are you going to do that? And for each action that you're going to do, you need to indicate what are the sources for the data and information regarding the operations of those actions initiated, which reports are going to be used to deliver the data and the information, and of course, who are the responsible parties to deliver that data. So this is now what you do. Okay, you come over here as usual, and then you go to this section. So under do, what you have to do, you have to implement the actions necessary to achieve the planned activities. Okay, so you come over here. So these actions now, just to clarify, what are these actions that what are these actions necessary to achieve these planned activities? These actions now, these are the actions right here. Okay, these are the actions that you have to do. This is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, these are the actions that you need to complete in order to achieve the planned results. We now go to the type of data or information. What is the type of data information you need to complete these actions? And then we come over here to the documented information. So here, if you go to this documented information, ISO, they've already told you that which documents to use, etc. like that. So here you're going to see that documented information maintained by the organization for the purpose of communicating the necessary information to operate. Okay, this is now what you need to do. So the examples here may include, these are the examples that may be included. Okay, so these forms, strategic plans, quality manuals, approved supplier list, and so on. These are the documents that you need, and then this is the type of data and information that you're going to have, and then we paste it over here. And then what report is going to be delivered? And then this is now, so here now you come over here and then you can see documented information needed to be retained by the organization for the purpose of providing evidence of the results achieved. So these results achieved, which results here? Basically here we are looking at the results, like really they are results that you determine your inputs, results that you have got inputs, results of the activities, outputs, and then the what? And the receivers outputs, okay? So these are now the what? These are now the documents that you have here. And then you come over here, and then you go to clause number what? And then you go to number 8 like that, okay? So you take everything that is written, number 8, 8.4, 8. And then these are the documents that you need right here. Okay, so right now, of course, this is just going to be clouded, but I'm just showing you as an example of what you need to do. Okay, so you just have to collect all of these documents up to this section right here. I really apologize for, I know this might not be visible for you, but at least you can see that this is what I'm just pasting up here. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to demonstrate, to show you what goes where. Okay, really how to read this information that I have here is basically just the same information that you see here. I'm just showing you where to place it like that. So what is left here are the opportunities for improvement and then the expected results. So the expected results, of course, this is very easy. We just have to come over here, and then these are going to become the expected results. The organization should perform the activities, okay? We monitor them, we monitor, measure, and control these defined processes, or so on like that. So these processes that we have to complete, these are basically these same ones that we have determined in the process approach, and these are the expected results right here. What we now need to do is to identify these opportunities for improvement. And again, this is what we mean by developing a formal system to manage your quality management activities. This is now what you need to do. You basically have to look at what step do I need to complete, and in order to achieve this intended outcome or these expected results, I need to determine the opportunities for improvement. Okay, and then now for the opportunities for improvement under do, here they are. Okay, so you now have to determine, is there a plan, is there a defined plan or process for the provision of product and services? So this is now the evidence that you're going to be looking for. Okay, you check and verify if there is a defined method by which customer requirements are agreed. Okay, you check, are all appropriate regulatory and legal requirements defined as part of customer review, and so on like that. Okay, if you carry out product design, some organizations, they don't have product design. So if you don't do design, you can omit the opportunities for improvement under design. But here, this is now the second list that you have. Okay, a defined method of identification and traceability for products as they go through the relation process, or do you have records for calibration or verification measuring equipment? So these opportunities for improvement, this is now what you need to list down as a lead implementer. This is now what is going to help you to what? Formalize or to complete this step that you have here. So you're going to put here your opportunities for improvement, and how this is going to be done in your organization. It's basically going to be an exercise of carrying out this action using this type of data, have these reports with you so that you can have this opportunity for improvement. And of course, these reports and then this deliver, you can just come over to your toolkit, you go to your what? You go to your, you go to your, you go to your internal and external documents under these manuals, and then you're going to see these are the procedures, okay? Procedure for record training, procedures, and so on like that. These are the documents that you're just going to use whenever they are required over here, okay? So that is now how you're going to complete and have these exercises with you. And of course here, how are you going to evidence of success? The evidence of success here, you are just going to come over here, and then this is step number 2. That is the do. Okay, implement what was planned. This is a goal setting requirement. Okay, and then that is what you have here. What about the evaluation process? Under do, okay, under do, this is so you go to ISO 9004. All right, you go to the maturity model here, and then you go to the process. which is step number 8. So you go from 8.1, okay, and then you go to 8.2, determination of the processes, and then 8.3, okay, and then 8.4. This is now how you are going to measure success. If you achieve the maturity model of 5 out of 5, that is how you determine whether your goal has been achieved, and that that is basically what your measures. That is why ISO developed this ISO 9004 for 2018, so that you can have guidance success, guidance to achieve sustained success. This is good. It basically works like a benchmark. What do you have to do? So for each of these 12 steps that we have here, there is a corresponding maturity level table under in ISO 9004. So that whatever that you do here, you can also measure and you can do a self-evaluation on your own. Okay. So after that, now we now go to the what? We now go to the section of check and act. Okay. So in check and act now, what are we trying to do? In check and act now, we are now going, after we have planned, okay, we planned how do you want to determine these processes, okay, and then we do. That means we implemented our plans. Now we want to check, okay, we want to monitor, measure, analyze, and evaluate the performance and effectiveness of these improvement tools for performance evaluation. And then after that, if there's any need for improvement, or if we are not yet achieving our intended outcome, we are going to optimize the performance and introduce changes to the improvement with the practice of leadership and commitment. So that is going to complete all the processes. So again, under do, okay, in check, we have got one action that we have to complete, and then in act, we have got one action that we also have to what? That we also have to complete. So let us see now what you have to do under check. Okay, so under check now, we need to measure and monitor the actual results against your what? Against your planned objectives. And then after that, now in acting, we are going to correct and improve your plans to meet and exceed your planned results. So the check and act now, this is basically the measurement, analysis, and improvement. So this is usually done simultaneously. That is why we have combined it here. So this is now step number 3 and 4, which are the last steps here. So what has happened here? Let me just go back a little bit. So what has happened here is this, okay? What has happened at this stage is that first of all, step number 1, you looked at the business processes that focus on meeting customer requirements on a constant basis. At this point now, you looked at the quality management activities in the organization. And then after looking at those quality management activities, you followed guidance, okay? You did the plan and then the do. That means you've completed 9 out of 12 steps, okay, that you're doing to develop a formal management system a formal system to manage these activities. What you're trying to do here at this point, after planning and doing, okay, you hope that you identified opportunities of improvement in the existing business processes, so that every time this process flow or this product or service realization process is repeated, by now the same information, methods, and skills and controls, they are going to be used and applied in a constant manner. Why do you hope so? Because at this point now you have implemented and you have also planned. So you planned how would you like to improve, okay? During the planning stage, you set objectives. How would I like to improve the current business processes? Once you identify those needs for improvement, and then you implement it, okay? After implementation, at this point, you want to check that do we meet now the intended outcomes. At this point now, you want to determine if right now the quality management system, the customers, are they getting constant and good quality products and services? What you're going to check and act on right now is to determine if indeed there's been an improvement on the quality and products and services, and whether you're meeting customers' needs and expectations. So this is now what you're going to do under what? In check and act. Okay? So what are you going to do? So here now, what you're going to do here, you need to take measurements of the system's performance. That is basically what we mean. System performance, you are going to look at the intended outcomes. Are you achieving the objectives of the process, so that you can analyze these and identify the needs for improvement? And the standard provides you, okay, with a set of requirements for achieving the tried and tested techniques on how you can, how you can evaluate performance. This can include customer satisfaction surveys, internal audits, monitoring and measurement processes, controlling of non-conforming products, analysis of data, and continual improvement. So under check now, what are the common pitfalls? So the common pitfalls here, many internal audit systems, they are ineffective, okay? And then also lack of addressing or mitigation of risk or actions taken regarding performance of the quality management system. So this is now the first step that you have to do to make sure that this mistake is not repeated again in your organization, okay? So under check now, this is what you have to do. You come over here and then you place your common pitfalls, okay? After common pitfalls now, what you need to do, and then now how to do it. So this is now the third stage where you have to assess the effectiveness of the operations of the plan, okay? And then what you're trying to do here, you want to determine which control measures are going to be applied in order to ensure the effectiveness of the actions taken. So these controls now, they can include management review, internal audits, or analysis or evaluation, okay? What you're trying to do here is verification and validation, so that you can determine the base level of what, the level of effectiveness. So this is now how you do it here, okay? So you're going to see that here, what is the action to take. The action to take, you just come over here on these 12 steps, you go under check, okay? And then during the checking stage, you are going to take this action right here. What I need to do here, I need to confirm that the process is effective and that the characteristics of the processes, they are consistent with the purpose of the organization, okay? And here, you understand, you are confirming the process is effective. What is the process here? The process is literally this one, okay? This is the process here. What is the process? The process is this one, all right, that you see here. And this is the process here that was described earlier on. This standard employs the process approach, okay? So this is now what you're trying to do here. So this is now the action, and this is the action that you want to take. What are the expected results from this action? What you need to do here, the organization should compare the outputs against objectives to verify that all the requirements are satisfied, okay? And these processes are needed to gather the data. Examples include monitoring, measuring, internal audits, and performance evaluation. No problem. So this is now the expected results right here. What we need to do, we need also the documented information. Documented information, you come over here, okay, and then you go to clause number what? To clause number 9, all right? So everything that has got number 9, and then you take it over here, and this is the documented information that is going to help you to complete this action, okay? As you can see, results of performance evaluation, you just come over here, okay? You come to these documents, and then you go to records, and then you can see these are the internal audit plan, internal audit reports, and the internal audit and management programs. These are basically the same as these ones right here. And then now we go to the type of control. So here, let's say, under check, so we can say, let's say the type of controls we used. Let us say, you can even say just audits, okay? Even one of them is more than okay. So here you can say we used the audits, okay? Or you can say we used the management review, so the same. These are just different types of controls. So whatever that you choose, it is totally fine, okay? Or you can just say we use the what? Analysis and evaluation. It is totally fine. So now we need to identify the opportunities for improvement, okay? So on the opportunities for improvement now, so these are now the opportunities for, when we say opportunities for improvement, these are the actions now that you have to make sure they've been done. There should be evidence in order for this step to be completed in your organization. Because what is happening here is that, what you are doing, okay, this action, you are applying it to an organization. And this action is going to is intended to improve, okay, what you are currently doing, so that you can meet, so that you can formalize the quality management activity. So this opportunity for improvement now, this is basically what can be done to fill in the gap between what the organization is doing, so that, and also the internationally recognized benchmark, basically through this action. Okay, so that is now what you're going to do. So this, you are going to do like a gap analysis. Under check, okay, you have to look for evidence to determine, is there defined procedure for performing or analyzing internal audits? Okay, do you have a procedure for identifying potential non-conformities in the system? Do you have a procedure for identifying these non-conformities and so on? So for example, let's say, okay, so let's say these two here, the organization does not have, let's say the organization, there's no evidence that this is being done by the organization. So what do you do? Okay, so here you can just say, okay, so here you just come over here and then you say, you should, okay, you should have a way of monitoring customer satisfaction and perception. Okay, and then here you can just come over here and then you say, the organization, okay, should, okay, should have a defined procedure for performing like that. Okay, so once this opportunity for improvement has been determined and acted upon, that is going to make it easier for the organization to have these expected results like that. So I just want you to know, as we are going to the we're about to be done here, I just want you to understand that the idea in what ISO they are trying to tell you here is that your job basically is to make sure that this action is taken so that these results can be achieved. Okay, so this is the action and these are the results. And for you to do that, what you have to do here is to go through the opportunities of improvement through this documented information. You avoid these potential barriers, and that is how you're going to get your expected results. And just like everything else, you also need to see evidence of success. So the evidence of success here, you just go to the goal under check. Under check, what are you expected to have achieved? Okay, and then you just say, this is what I'd like to see. There should be evidence that we should meet this goal here. So this is going to be the evidence of success. Okay, after this evidence of success, now how can you evaluate to determine that indeed this goal has been achieved? You open your ISO 9004. When you open ISO 9004, you go to this section right here. Okay, you go to this section of analysis and evaluation, and analysis and evaluation of organizations' performance in general, 10.1, and then you see which level are you currently at. That is how you are going to measure it like that. So in that way now, okay, as I said, each step right here, there's a corresponding table in ISO 9004. So this is now going to help you do it by yourself. Like, you can complete the action on your own, and you can also self-evaluate it like that. And another thing that I like about ISO 9004 is basically this information that they have given you. They have actually explained how to determine each category. What are the performance indicators that you have to use? There is no shortage of examples here. This is as simple as, even myself, I try to explain, it will never be as simple as it has been done here. Okay, so again, this ISO 9004, the 2018 version copy, it comes alongside your alongside your standard and your also the cost bundle that you're going to get. So after this has been done, now we now go to the what? We now go to the action of ACT. So again, in ACT, everything will start by the common pitfalls. So the common pitfalls under ACT now, the customer complaints, they are recorded, but organizations, they don't define or document a corrective action. Okay, so you take this common pitfall right here, and then you make sure that this is communicated to the what? To the organization. All right. So these are the potential barriers under ACT. All right, and then under ACT now, how to do it. Okay, so Act now, this is the fourth and the last stage now that you go through when you are, when you are formalizing this quality management system, the quality management activities, and here you are acting for improving the performance of your plan. So at any point where you are not satisfied with the results of plan's progress, you have to review your plan and then act on how to improve it. So how you do it now, this is basically the initiation of further actions. So according to the results of the control, you must decide whether the corrective actions must be initiated. So you can either, repeat the planned actions. Sometimes it's not the. Sometimes you're going to realize that you are not the quality management system is not performing very well because you did not, you just did not implement what was required, or so you have to repeat the planned actions. Or sometimes you can change the already planned actions so that you can initiate new actions. So this is now what you do, okay? Here now you come over here and then you see which actions you have to take. So this is now step number 12 out of 12. What you have to do here, if you're not satisfied, you change the processes to ensure that they continue to deliver the intended outputs. Again, whenever we say processes, we are talking of the process approach right there. So this is now the action that has to be done. What is the expected result here? The expected result is this one, okay? So once this is now the expected result, at this point now, your organization and yourself, you now know what is what needs to be done and what needs to be achieved. What are the potential barriers? What is the documented information that can help you to complete this step? You go to every documentation with clause number 10 here. Okay, then you copy like this, and then this is the documentation. So this documentation for corrective actions like that, if you can just come over here, okay, when you get your toolkit, and then you can just come to internal documents, and then you can go to this section right here, system procedures, procedure for non-conformities, and so on. So this is what the documents are going to look like, okay? So this, remember, documented information, the purpose of this document is basically to help you to communicate what is required, okay, so that you can complete this step. So those are the documents. And then when it comes to resources, you already know, we said resources, they can be looked in what? In 3 ways. So these are the resources that we need, okay? So you say these are the resources here, and then now what are the opportunities for improvement? Okay, so the opportunities for improvement here, you can see. So let us say these are the opportunities for improvement here. Okay, then you just copy them right here. Okay, so like, do you have a project for identifying potential? So if this was not done, okay, you can say the organization, all right, should have a procedure for identifying non-conformities like that. And when you are doing this now, this is what we said at the beginning of the webinar. Like at the beginning of the webinar, I said, when I was explaining the role of the PDCA, it's all about opportunity for improvement being determined and acted upon. So determined, that is already done for you. I've given you the list of these opportunity for improvement. All what you have to do is to look for evidence whether this opportunity for improvement is it there in the organization or not. If you don't know what does it look like, okay, you just come over here, okay, and then you open this module like this, right? When you open this module here, there are examples. You go to number 10, and then they are going to give you the examples. Continual improvement with procedure, corrective action explained. What is a non-conforming, etc. like this. So this is basically like a guidance to explain to you in case you just don't understand what exactly is required at each stage in ISO 9001. So that is why we have included this course bundle, in your package to make sure that you have everything that you need. And also, even if you open these procedures, these documents that you're going to get, you're going to see that they're all explained in simple to use details. So this is what you do, and then how do you evidence for success? The evidence for success here, you want to determine if you have met the primary goal under ACT, and the primary goal under ACT here is this one, okay? you need to see that you have taken actions to improve as necessary. Okay, so this is the evidence for success. But how do you know that you are making progress? This goal has been read. You open ISO 9004, and then you go to the what? You go to the section of, you go to the maturity model for that action that has been done. Okay, like that. So this is now improvement and innovation, which is basically the last one, which is the last one here in improvement. Okay, 11.2. You're going to determine what is the current maturity model. So the maturity model here, nothing is complicated. Okay, all what you just have to do is to determine which statement is true. It's all about having objective evidence. Okay, and you're going to see that if the evidence is there, you can see that this statement is true. If not, and then you can just determine the maturity model. And again, as I say, all the examples are here. Okay, so they are going to give you exactly what you need to do. A self-assessment tool is provided based on Annex A. One thing that you have to understand about ISO standards, okay, let me just clarify this before I leave. When you are looking at a standard like ISO 9001, okay, you have to think it as a formula that describes the best way of doing something. So this ISO 9001 standard, okay, life should be easier after the standard, okay, based when there was no standard. The idea is not that when you are trying to use ISO 9001, you end up doing more work, more documents, more responsibilities, more confusion. Basically, that is caused by, not doing it correctly. If you are going to realize that, by following these 12 steps, you're using this same method, that is going to be the easiest way that you can get your quality management system to be up and running. And what it means here, it's very important to understand that the end goal here, you just want to make sure that for every customer that you deliver a product and service for, you use the same information, methods, skills, and controls in a constant manner. This is what you need. Once that has been achieved, then that is going to improve the quality and product so that you can constantly meet your customer expectation. How do you do it? These are the 12 steps. How can I implement these 12 steps in my organization? Here are the opportunity for improvement. Here's the documented information. Avoid these barriers, and you are going to achieve these results. How do I know that I'm achieving success? You go to ISO 9004 and you measure the maturity model there. As easy as you like, okay? But before I end this webinar, always think of ISO standard as a formula that describes the best way of doing something, okay? So it could be making a product, managing a process, or delivering a service or supplying what you have to do. Standards, these are distilled wisdom of people with expertise in their subject matter who knows the needs of organizations they represent, okay? So that is how you have to view ISO standard. They are not designed to bring more work or more confusion or to complicate things in your organization. The moment you see ISO 9001, when you see there's, when you start seeing like much confusion, you are spending much money on training people, you are running around, stop, okay? Just stop. That's not how it is supposed to be. This should be the easier way. That's why, these are called, they are basically tools to simplify things. And most organizations that I go to, what really, it's really a pity that, you look at how much effort organizations put to do the wrong thing is just outstanding. Like, they go length and length to do the wrong thing, okay? They put so much effort that they could have implemented maybe 5 or 10 quality management systems, and then you ask them, have you ever come across this document? No. So who really told you what to do? And you get all these kind of bizarre answers and things like that. And for myself, I don't really know where did this myth come from, that these standards are complicated and things like that. And so please just make sure that you view these as this is as easy as it can be, and anyone can implement it, okay? So to conclude now on this training, okay, after the act, I'm going to leave you with the basically tips to make ISO 9001 effective for you, okay, so that it can help you to deliver your needs and expectations to meet your customer needs. you have to make sure that the managers, okay, top management is actively involved and to approve results and to agree on the key processes that intend to meet customer requirements. And also engagement. It's important that people within your organization, they don't work in isolation. They should actually understand how ISO 9001 has been implemented, what to do, and that is basically the form of documented information, that column for documented information. That's why I said it's very important for you to communicate how you are going to develop the quality management system. Show them the 12 steps, what are the potential barriers, what are the actions to be taken, and what do you need to achieve. You have good internal communication channels within the organization, and constantly you have to review your systems and policies so that you can have, they can place them in the moment. The second aspect here, documentation. As I said, ISO 9001 defines the need for 6 procedures only. What you have after that is up to you, which is usually unnecessary though. And then auditing, train your staff to carry out audits of the system. The more auditors you have in your organization, is the better it is. I usually give an example that if everyone in your city is a policeman, okay, we expect crime rate to be low because everyone is watching out. So that is basically the idea here. And also you have to speak to your to interested parties, your customers and suppliers, gain insight as to how they view your service so that you can also identify opportunities for improvement here, okay? And make sure everyone understands their roles and how to achieve them. Use ISO 9004. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is my presentation on how you can implement ISO 9001. Hopefully this has been very clear to you and as simple as it could be. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with me. I really, really appreciate your efforts. So please, if you have got any questions that you need, please, if you have got any questions, please let me know so that I can, I can help you to do that. And before I go here, what I want you to understand, okay, you can forget everything that I've said in this webinar. Always know that, number one, what does it mean to implement a quality management system? Please, this one I'm saying with the red heart. Do not go and disrupt what organizations are doing. This is the common mistake that I've seen. There are some organizations who are doing very well. They met their customers' needs and expectations. And they decided that, okay, let us take the next step. They hired this person who thought he knows what to do with ISO 9001. He went to the organization, disrupted everything, okay? Started implementing, get the manual, get this, complicated everything, and the organization ended up doing worse than before ISO 9001, okay? So by the time I went to that organization, it was chaotic. They have already disrupted everything. So please make sure that before you do anything, every organization has quality management activities. What are these quality management activities? You ask. These quality management activities, even yourself, you have them. This is what you do in order to meet customers' needs and expectations on a constant basis. Think of a lemonade stand. If a lemonade stand has got quality management activities, you also have these quality management activities. Your job is only to follow guidance, nothing else, okay? You have to follow guidance on how you formalize and manage those activities. The only reason why you are formalizing these activities is to make sure that the same information, same method, same skills and controls, it is applied in a constant manner. What is this guidance? These 12 steps here. How to implement them? There you go, as easy as you'd like it, okay? So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending this webinar. Please check your email inbox for the materials and resources that you're going to get at the end of this webinar, okay? For reference, this is a CPD approved training program, and this is a link that you can use to verify and update your CPDs right here, okay? This is the sample certificate that you're going to receive, and CPD, you can use it actually to update your catalog. CPD, this is basically a demonstration of competence, okay? So what you can do here, when you develop or formalize quality management activities in an organization, you can download this in a PDF, change the name or blay out the name of the organization, and you can upload it to your digital credential here, so that when you are sharing your certificate, people, they don't only see that you are certified ISO 9001, but you also know the proper way to do it, okay? And here are the resources and guidelines that you're also going to get for $49. And please understand, this offer for $49 ends today, okay? As you can see, you are going to receive a lot of material, the toolkit, lead implementer training, handbooks, guidance, toolkits, and all these documents that you might need to implement a quality management system. So this offer for $49, it ends today. This link is going to be deactivated in about 5 hours. It's not going to be available anymore. So once again, thank you so much for attending. For those who have already processed their payments, please wait 15 minutes after the webinar, and your documents plus your credentials, they are going to be sent. Thank you so much. This is the end. Until next time, goodbye. Okay. Someone said, anxieties for taking this on learning. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, so if you'd like to get the PowerPoint presentation, again, it comes also with the $49 package. So you're going to get the presentation and also the recording, okay? I know that sometimes I speak too much fast, or stuff like that. So you can get the recording, reduce the pace that I'm going on, so that you can study anytime that you're doing. So once again, guys, thank you so much. Until next time, goodbye.